Hello, welcome pen friends. I found a video over the weekend, and today is March 11, 2024, but I found a video over the weekend by Maria Rosseau that was so interesting and so much fun that I wanted to make one too. And so, I looked into where she got the questions. It's called hashtag 17 ink questions, and she got these questions from Lisa at OliveOctopus.ink. And so I went and I found the questions written out, and I thought about them, and I had so much fun. It actually, took me right out of a kind of a low mood. And so I wanted to share my video or my answers to these 17 questions with you, because who knows, it might make you happy too. So, and I will link Maria's video and also Lisa's blog, and there's a long list of other people who have blogged and answered these questions, which I didn't want to look at yet because I wanted to go relatively fresh into this, and picking out my favorites and choosing the inks I'm going to talk about. Even though I probably was influenced some by Maria's video, I love her, and actually didn't even know about her channel until last year when Simone and Leanne Likes did the 8 pen question video series, and they're currently revisiting that. And so I think that may be why I ran into Maria's video now, and it was just great. So without too much further ado, I've stacked up ink bottles and I've got stuff all over. This is my pen desk, and my name is Chris if you're new here. Sorry about that. I never seem to think about that. Like, I know my channel name says it all, but still. I think we'll just dive right in because I'm really excited. I tried to do this yesterday, but I had phone calls and visitors and lawn mowing around us, and you know how it is as soon as you press record. So, okay, question number 1. What was your first memorable ink? Okay, there were a lot of inks that I really enjoyed, and I almost answered this with Diamine Aqua Lagoon because I love that ink, and it was one of my first ink bottles. But my first really memorable, and where I put out, laid down a lot of money for ink, was, hoping that I'd like it and really love it still, was the J.R. Bond Amethyst de Laurel. I love everything about the ink, everything about the bottle, and it just, it never disappoints. And for some reason, when I started to study Stoicism, this was the ink I wanted to use. And I really thought about it because it's a special ink and it cost a little more than many of my other inks. But I always turn to this ink because I put it in a Lamy Fine nib, and it has that special pizzazz without overpowering. And I've used, taken notes on Stoicism a lot with this particular ink. It's almost like, it's kind of it's my favorite color. It's purple, and it's got silver shimmer. So I'm also going to link you over to inkswatch.com where you can look up and compare all these inks that I'm going to talk about. I believe we've got everything there that I'm going to talk about. If not, I'll get busy sending Matt the tiles. But so this was my first really memorable ink, and I remember the debate in my mind about spending that much for the bottle. It was up there close to $30, so it was a big purchase for me. Uh-oh, here comes the ink kitty, Coco. Be real careful, hun, because we do have a lot of glass things up here, okay? You can be here if you're real careful, all right? I'll have to move a couple things, but okay. So, number 2, what is your favorite ink bottle design, and which bottle or cartridge is your favorite to use? Okay, so that's really 2 distinct questions, and I don't have a single answer because I absolutely love the J.R. Bond bottles that are in this, it's the 1798 series. It's elegant, it's heavy, it's beautiful, and it's got the little waxy top and real nice. But I do have one other bottle that I'm repeatedly drawn to this bottle. I've even bought empty ones of it. Let's see if I can get in there. Can I find it, Coco? Let me see. Oh no, where is it? You sitting on it? Yeah, almost, but not quite. That's okay. We can work around you. He's the mascot, so. Okay, so it really, my favorite bottle is the Graf von Faber-Castell bottle, and I don't know why. I don't think it's the easiest to get into to put ink in your pen, but I love it. It has a nice thick bottom. It's elegant. It almost looks like an old cologne bottle, but for some reason I really love it. So it's kind of almost a tie between these two. They're just so beautiful, and there's other mentions too, really, because I also, another one, oh, I better not leave that on the edge or it could take a trip, and we would not like that, would we, Coco? Then we'd have a stained floor and have to buy new ink. Oh boy. Okay, so the Pelikan Edelstein bottle, I like those too. I love them. And I think I have only 2 in my whole ink collection of this. But again, I guess I like the heavy bottomed, you know, kind of really sturdy glass bottles. You know, I like them a lot. And I would probably have a hard time throwing them away when I get done with the ink. You know, so that there you have it. I'm looking at some of the others I pulled out because I did this all yesterday when I was, but really my favorite, for whatever reason, oh, maybe I should show you the top. The top is really cool on the Faber-Castell bottle too. So that kind of adds to it. But when I had my special ink, what is so fascinating about the ceiling? I don't know. When I had my special King Philip ink that I wanted to, put into a bottle, I ordered a bottle empty from Van Ness for like $4, I think, or $3. And it was this bottle that I put it into. Uh-oh, I hope that wasn't something for my show and tell, Coco. It was. It was a brand new ink syringe. Oh my goodness. Let's see if I can get it without knocking everything over. Yeah, we don't. Yeah, that's a brand new ink syringe. Oops, that's a spoiler. Okay, I'm back. Okay, so that pretty much. Oh, the second part of the question is, which bottle do you like, is your favorite to use? And I assume that means to fill from. Well, I don't fill from bottles too much, but I am starting to do that more now. And I'm starting to realize that every bottle's not created equally. Because what I always did was fill from ink sample, but I'm getting away from that now because I'm not wanting to maintain all those little ink samples for each bottled ink if the bottle is workable. And when it is not workable, then I use an ink miser. So, I've got that covered. It's a little, I'll link all these things, as many as I can remember to link. I'll link down below for you. So I still, I don't mind the Robert Oster bottles to fill from. They're nice and light so that when I'm filling, I can kind of tilt it even and kind of do this number, hold my pen, and even when it gets pretty low. And this is actually, this I think comes from the Monarch inks, and pen friend Kathy sent me one, and the bottle from Robert Oster sits right in it. So this is one of my favorite, because I could even just mangle with the bottle and fill, because it's lightweight plastic, and I don't know, that's just me. I may be very strange. I'm pretty sure I am. And then, like the cross bottles, I've had no problem filling from those. I haven't gotten all the way down to the bottom yet, so I don't know how it'll be later. I don't really have a favorite bottle to fill from other than the Robert Oster. Being plastic, being lightweight. I don't as much like the diamine ones for that because they're a little bit narrower at the top. You can get most pens into it, but I don't like that. Not the 30 mil anyway. The little glass ones are fine. So I think that's a question I'll be able to answer better maybe next year, because I'm doing away with a lot of the, I'm having to refill those sample vials. I find that more condensation happens and more darkening of ink happens with those little vials, which is because of more years passing and having so much ink too. So that's kind of a long answer. It's so funny. If I look at what I wrote down, it may not even completely match, but I definitely think that I will be filling from a bottle more often now. So, oh, we're back, are we? Let's make sure the glass is all pushed back, because I would hate to have an accident. Yeah, that wouldn't be fun. Okay, question number 3. I'd have you read it, Coco, but I don't think it's fair to ask that. Okay, what's an ink you love or find useful, but would not use for everyday writing? This has changed quite a bit, because I really love the Noodler's King Philip. Oh my goodness, I'm glad that wasn't glass. Oh, that when a whole bunch of things I wanted to show went on the floor. That wasn't very nice. I'll have to get them when it's time to show them, I guess. Okay, you want to get down there and make sure that you didn't break anything? Okay, that's a good idea. You better go check. Be careful. Okay. Phew. Having an assistant can sometimes complicate things. So the King Philip Requiem is so beautiful. It's just the most gorgeous purpley magenta goodness, but it stains things and it is high maintenance. It really is. And so as it turned out, it's something that I'll put in a Lamy-Fine nib every so often, and I really love it. I actually also love it in the 1.1 Lamy nib, but it's not as practical as, I just kind of went into that only with my impression of how beautiful the ink was in letters from my pen friend. Well, she went by Michelle Rain, but her name was Christine, and she wrote with it, and it was her favorite ink, and it was a Grail ink for me. But I didn't really pay attention to the attributes of the ink when I purchased it. So anyway, I love it, and it's but it's not good for every day because you have to constantly worry about staining everything, including your fingers and so on. And you kind of have to have a separate, I do have a separate Lamy converter just for that ink. So number 4, question 4, how do you discover new inks? Oh, this is a fun question. If I ever wanted to control my spending completely, which it's a given this year because I have to, but I would just probably leave Instagram because Instagram's where I see a lot. But then there are also 3 influencers who I have to mention. So the first one is pen friend Kathy, who sends me Birmingham ink samples. Thank you. And so like keeps me in the loop and even knowing what Birmingham inks are doing right now. And then pen friend Manda B has, she swatches like almost all the inks. So it's so much fun to be able to go see what's going on and what the colors are. And so she's been a major influencer in my life. And then pen friend Marilyn Darling, he's doing that too. He gets lots of inks from different people and places, and I love to see, what's going on with ink. So I'm not having to worry about watching videos this year. I'm not going to be influenced. Well, I could be influenced, like make a list, but because I have a really big bill that I'm paying off, I'm kind of safe from, most of my shenanigans. Let's put it that way. Okay, number 5, do you use inks for anything other than writing? Yes, I love to make doodles, and then I love to activate them. Oh my gosh, half my stuff is on the floor, but with a water brush. So it's a lot of fun to do that, to do like outline writing, which I still consider a doodle, where you make big letters with outline and then you take that water brush and fill it in. That works really good on CVS caliber paper and on Tomoe River paper. So. And I'm exploring a lot of new papers this year, so there's probably going to be a lot more that I can share about some of these new papers that have come across my desk. So in my process journal, I like to do things like splatters, boxes around quotes, and even activate those, and doodles. But I'm not an artist. I just enjoy the color. And as I get older, I've learned to just worry so much less about how things look, because you won't do anything if you're worried about perfection or how the page is going to look. And in fact, the messier pages with splats and unexpected things end up being the most special pages. So it's a lot of fun. I think that fountain pen ink is very versatile, and you can use it for so many things. Okay, the next question, number 6, is what is an ink that's worth hoarding, whether you actually do or not? Well, definitely the first one that came to mind is 50 States, Texas. And and I was gifted a bottle of this. I was almost out, like I was down to the bottom, and pen friend MS gifted me a bottle, and I thank you so much because it's just so exciting not to run out of that ink. I love it. The other one is TWSBI Royal Purple. I don't think I have the bottle down here. In fact, I may be kind of, no, it's up there. Anyway, it's a little bottle like this. See if I can knock down the whole thing. I don't see it right now, but I bet it's back there. This is a green one, but so it's in a little 18 ml bottle. I think it used to be $6. Gosh, everything's going up these days, but that's another one that I don't want to run out of. And then Cross Black, as odd as that sounds. I was kind of sweating the other day thinking, I keep filling my little Jinhao 248, I think it is. It has an extra fine nib, but it writes like a fine. I keep putting the Cross Black in it, and I think I'm going to run out of this, but then I tell myself I have other inks. I have still Noodler's Heart of Darkness, and I somehow got this Kohl Noor. I don't remember where I got it from. Somebody probably sent it, and if I don't get my trusty marker out and put initials on things, I forget. But anyway, those are the three. The Sailor 50 States Texas, TWSBI Royal Purple, and Cross Black. I'm like greedy with wanting to make sure I don't run out of those. So. Okay, let me get a drink of water here because I could tell my voice is starting to... And I still got my eye on those things. I'll have to pause and go pick up those things in a minute. We'll see which question corresponds with those show and tell items. He got bored and I just saw him heading toward the bedroom. So, okay. Question 7. How do you choose which ink goes into a pen? Do they have to match? Do you always use the same ink in a particular pen? Okay. I am kind of matchy-matchy, and those who watch my Chris's Ink Pens and the progress report probably already know that. I kind of like it because it helps with my memory. It helps, you know, if it's a turquoise pen, it's probably going to have a blue ink in it of some kind. And actually, let's put that to the test. What do I have in here? I don't remember. Let's see. Oh yeah, TWSBI Sky Blue. See, it helps because I know it has to be something kind of similar to what the pen is, usually. Not always. With the jade, with the TWSBI Jade, I end up with darker greens because I don't necessarily like a muted green like that. But I think a contrast, you know, a green is still a green. So that's going to jog my memory as to what's in there. And, gee, I'm going to have to take a memory test one of these days. I don't really remember. I'm going to cheat. I'm going to look back. It's because I've got two. Okay, it's not 50 States Vermont, so it is, then it is Diamine Sherwood Green. I didn't have to actually cheat. Yay. So that's how I roll. I do kind of like it to be in the color family of the pen color. Let's see. The other thing that I consider is the nib. You know, what nib do I want to see this ink going out of? And how much trouble am I willing to go to switching nibs around or, you know, finding one that isn't already inked up with the correct ink, nib. Like I have only 2 of the Lamy 1.1 nibs, so I'm kind of fussy about that, and I may have to do musical nibs to get a 1.1 on the right pen that I need it on, and I'll do that. And then, let's see, what else did I write down? Yes, I love matchups. I think that pretty much answers it. I'm not horrified but if it doesn't match, but I would enjoy it better if it was a silver pen or a neutral color, or like say a white TWSBI or a black TWSBI, something that's more neutral. Then it doesn't really matter to me, and I could put any color in it, and it wouldn't bother me. I just would end up referring to my little book more often, because I tend to get a dozen or more pens inked up, and it gets a little tricky remembering what's in what, and I don't want to have any kind of, you know, I don't want to mislead anybody in a pen pal letter by just guessing what ink I'm writing with. So there we have it. That's that question. Now, question number 8. Uh-oh, this is the one where I'm going to have to pause and pick up all the stuff that Coco threw on the floor. Number 8. Do you use ink samples? If so, is your goal to find an ink to buy a bottle or just to get a smaller amount of ink to use? Oh, actually, I can answer this without picking up the mess. Okay, so I should just answer, not read what I wrote, because what I wrote, it's just like, I wrote yes. Yes to what? Okay. Yes, I use ink samples. I have way too many ink samples, and I'm working on remedying that by using down what I have and not purchasing this year. And my goal used to be to find my favorite color in a certain color family. Like I'd have 10 samples of brown inks, and I would be earnestly and sincerely looking for my favorite. That was before I realized that I could have several favorites within one color family. Like, you know, even with brown, although I landed on 50 States, Texas, and it's my favorite. And then I discovered there are a few more. There was some Noodler's browns that were really, really pretty too. And so I started to realize that you could still be tempted by ink long after you find your grail color in a certain color family. But as of right now, you know, March 2024, I am no longer actively searching for ink bottles to buy. In fact, I'm just actively using what I have because it's just really crucial. I don't like to waste, so I'm using what I have. But back when it was, you know, my goal, yeah, I would purposely do a study, watch videos, go in and check Goulet pens, check Van Ness, look for samples to get so that I could then hone in on my very favorite within the color family. It became beyond a hobby. It became an enterprise here, you know, like almost like a, you know, a constant thing for a while. So now I'm just using what I have and exploring what I have, because sometimes when you revisit inks, even samples, you realize, wow, I missed out on the main point about this ink. So it's really cool. Okay, question number 9 is there a particular ink that's just not for you? What underhyped ink would you like to see more people try? Okay, I'm not sure I found my answer for that second part. I was still kind of thinking about that. But the first part, the Noodler's Apache Sunset is an ink that I want to love. And it for a long time, I felt like it was really hyped as, you know, that's yellow, orange, and it's beautiful. And what really gets to me is that people will write to me with that ink and it'll look great. I'll think, well, that's readable and it looks nice. And then I'll kind of look at what they noted. In fact, pen friend Kathy wrote with that ink, and I thought, well, that looks really pretty. How come when I use it, it just doesn't seem to show up on the page? I need to examine that further. Like, am I using, you know, maybe cream paper and I need to use white paper? What's going on? I think that with that ink, the more ink that's put out onto the page, like a 1.5 nib or maybe a parallel, would help it. But I haven't slowed down to really get past it, because if my regular broad nibs, like in my Twisbys and in my Lamy Safaris, you know, if those don't really showcase the ink the way I want it, then I'm a little bit lazy and I kind of like, oh, well, that didn't work out. So then I feel like I'm finished. But I'm not finished, because as long as I'm alive, I'm interested in ink, and I can run experiments, and it's a lot better for me and my mind to be doing things like that than maybe other habits that I might have of just watching series, which there's nothing wrong with that, in moderation, you know. But you know, there are other habits that are just much not as positive as writing with ink and journaling and writing letters and things like that. So let's see if I can revisit the second part of that question. What underhyped ink would you like to see more people try? Okay, that's pretty easy, because I don't think that the inks like cross, and I've got 2 of theirs and love both of them. The cross black, I'm using that daily. The cross violet is amazing. It's not that I don't see them never talked about. I actually see cross violet talked about quite a bit, but not as much as you would think. And then the other brand would be the Waterman. Let's see if I can get up there without. This was explained to me. Yeah, I've got 2 of theirs that I love. Waterman Tender Purple, and I mean that is a gorgeous purple ink. And also the Waterman Serenity Blue. I wouldn't have given this another look, but someone, and I can't remember, I'm sorry, I can't remember who it was, put in the comments that I really needed to try this, and it was one that they used in every nib to see whether there was a problem with the nib, and it's really beautiful ink. So I don't think that these are, you know, it's kind of like with the Parker inks. Other than Wasky Squirrel, I don't see too many people, you know, talking about them. So they've been around a long time, and they're tried and true, and probably, you know, very safe for our pens. So those would be 2, Cross and Waterman, that I don't see, you know, hyped the way some of the ones that have the heavy sheening or the chromatic or whatever you want to call it, and shimmering inks and all those bells and whistles. So I think that answers it. Let's see. Okay. Number 10. What do you do with any unused ink when you clean a pen? Nowadays, I'm really making an effort to use up all of the ink, and I have my secondary pen case that I just have over in the library where I tend to have a little bit of a noon break and have my lunch and do more journaling, and I'm using up all those inks in that capacity, you know, taking notes and writing in my journal, while actively at my desk here, I have in my Galen pen tray the ones that I'm using for the month that I'm doing all my active pen pal letters. So these kind of stay here, and this is where I write my pen pal letters, and I have all that. So I don't have to like put ink back into an ink vial hardly ever anymore, unless it just doesn't work out right from the get-go. If I put the ink in and then I say, oh, this is terrible, then I might just right then and there put it back into the ink vial. You know, I don't like putting it from the pen back in the ink bottle. Sorry, Maria. I think she sometimes may do that, but I'm chicken little on that kind of thing. Because, well, and I live in I don't know, I feel like our climate works against us here in South Texas with the mold and with the, like, a lot of humidity. So we've got a lot going on with that. So I will, you know, if I get down to nothing, then I'm just going to use the kitchen sink and flush it down the sink. But I'm kind of picky about writing them dry. It's a fun game too. If it's like, yay, I wrote it dry, it's done, you know. Oh, the other point to that question, as far as what I do with unused ink, I try not to fill my pens as full anymore, because I think it was, oh, I'm probably going to just spout the wrong name. Ginger Peachy Pens. Now I'm not thinking straight. But someone that I watched quite a bit for quite a while there had mentioned just filling your pen part way, and I started adopting that habit. You know, rather than fill the converter full or the piston full, I just put less, like she had suggested, and I'm hoping I'm not attributing that to the wrong person. But right now, today, and the last 2 months, my brain is so full of details, you know, that I can't even imagine how I could remember anything, much of anything. I'm like, yay, I remembered when I remember something. And it's situational to what is happening in my life right now. Not, I don't think it's a long-term problem. Okay, hopefully. Let's see. Okay, we're getting down. I got to get down there and pick up what Coco spilled. Boy, I was so lucky, because when he threw this coloring index down there, it landed about 3 inches from his water bowl. So Normally it's up here tucked real carefully in here, and there's probably no way that he could cause that to happen, but that would have been a cry situation because this is like all my bottled inks. Oh, well, let's read the question. Maybe that would be a good idea. How do you catalog, swatch, track, and store your ink? Okay, that's a long question. I'm going to try to make sure that, because each thing I actually kind of do, except for maybe the track part, because I'm just not very good at that. But let me see, where are we going to start here? Catalog, swatch, track, and store. Okay, well, that's quite a bit. So when they come in, when I get a bottle, they go on here. And I have them mostly, you know, by color, so you can almost see with the fan of it that I try to keep them decent so I can remind myself that I have a lot of purple and I have a lot of teal and green, you know, blue. I have a lot of blue, and I can kind of see what I have. So that stays up here, and I work with it all the time. And I have an extra one because at one time I didn't think I was ever going to slow down on my insanity, but I finally did. So this is part of it, but I don't keep up with this for all my samples. What I do is I have my 3" by 3" tiles on every ink, pretty much every ink that I've ever seen. I do the top swatch and the little water activated part down below. And I can link my video on how I make these, because there are people, I have noticed that the channel's still getting new people, so that's cool. But I do that with every ink that comes in, every sample. And right now I've got about 4 that I need to do. Actually, I did one of them, so I'd have 3 new ones that I need to do. Let's see what else we were gonna, okay. Since I don't remember very long what I'm doing here. Catalog, swatch, track. Okay, in a way, tracking, you know, could be what I do in my ink journal, because when I write with them, I make my little chart every month so that I know, you know, what I've inked up, and I wind up with, on the other side, there'll be a report card and everything. And then I do keep track of, you know, how it wrote and what it looked like with the water brush and everything, because that's such an integral part of my, ooh, here's a little spoiler alert for the upcoming progress report. But yeah, I'm in my ink journal all the time, and more so now because I'm not so weird about trying to conserve paper anymore, because I have plenty of paper now. I think that I answered that. Let's see. Oh, it looks like I messed up real bad. I think I might have skipped a question. I did. Okay, that's not the end of the world. If we did 12 before 11, we just need to go back and do 11. So let's make sure we did 12 first, though. How do you catalog, swatch, track, and store? Oh, store your ink. Okay. Well, I'm not the best at storing ink. I do have a rolling cart, and everything on the rolling cart is in the boxes. And then I kind of break rules as far as, yes, I do have, I've been called out on this. I have ink up here that's out in the open, but I'm actively using the bottles down, and so far so good. There hasn't been any ruination of ink. If I have a bottle for it, I put it, you know, if I have a box, I put it in the box. And if it was samples, I have a shell box for each major color category. So I'll put the samples in here. And then I also have a few projects where I think I have 3 of these that I bought the empty vials in these. It holds 36. And so I put all my Robert Oster samples in here, for instance. And then I think my other one had, oh, I don't see the other one. I may have decommissioned that if I reorganized again. So I have a lot of little strategies, but mainly I like to have my ink right in front of me where I can grab it and use it. And that's when it gets used the most. So I really enjoy that. Okay, I'm getting nervous because I skipped question 11. Excuse me. And question 11 is, what is the most unique ink you have used or seen? And my answer on that is strange, but I'm going to tell you what I wrote down. I wrote down Lamy Dark Lilac 2024. And I think it's because of how it like sheened. Let's see, I've got it. I've got a whole bunch of projects in the works, which is usually as far as things get around here right now because of all the other. But yeah, it's pretty unique. Let's see. Are we going to be, it's very unique. Very, what did they say? Unique? Yeah, unique is the word they used. But as I look at that today, a few days after I answered it, I'm not sure that I haven't seen something more unique. But I guess it was just such a shock that it had so much green sheen. And then this was the original where it had gold sheen. But my little splats the other day had what I would call edging of golds. But anyway, it didn't quite. So let's think about that question just for a second. Again, a little bit more. What is the most unique ink you've used or seen? Okay, well, like Noodler's Blue Ghost, that's completely wild. Like you have to have a certain light to be able to see it. Like it's an invisible ink. And I have a little sample of that. I haven't really played with it yet. Sorry, Marilyn. I will. I have a lot of things that to slow down and try out and use. So maybe the Noodler's Blue Ghost, because I mean, I remember, getting a letter written with that, and then I had to, use the little light to read it. It was so hilarious. It was funny. I was like, oh no, I might not actually be able to read the letter. So that takes the cake, really. Okay, so now I have to skip 12 because we already did that. Number 13, what is your favorite ink color family? This is hard because, I am such a purple person. I am completely mad over purple, and I like all different shades. I like the darker, deeper ones. I like the really bright psychedelic purple. I really do. But lately, I've just been so wild over magenta inks. I wonder if I have any out that are just here, because I told myself that if here's one. I mean, this fuchsia, I guess, and magenta, but like the Vintame Copa, which actually gave me a lot of trouble in my little mini lately because the sheen had probably settled in the bottle. It's not giving me any trouble with the Pilot ink. The little pen, let's see, I had it right in my pocket, but I think I put it over where I was writing with it. So I've become more into not like a traditional pink, I love the Levenger Pinkly. That's a bright traditional pink. But it's the magentas and the deep, deep fuchsias that are really calling to me just as much as like the purples always have. And a third color family is teal. So, I just absolutely, you could tell by how I, oops, oh my gosh, we got to be real. No, let's not do this again. Those could actually fly loose. Okay, let's keep it all right there. Actually, I think I'll move it for you so you can have a little more room. So I have quite a few of the teals that I love too, and not all of these are teal, but that Muddy Water looks almost teal. And then, like California Teal and Colorverse Gravity Wave. So that's like 3. I'm not answering the question because I'm saying purple, magenta, and teal. I love all of them. But I think if I had to walk away with only one of those 3, it would still be purple because I am just nuts over purple. You okay? You doing all right there? It's a cold morning, but it's good. Okay, so Coco, we're almost finished. Let's see, number 14. What ink-related tool or accessory can you not live without? Okay, I ended up with 3 in this category too. So the first, of course, well, not the first, but one is Tomoe River paper in a nice ink journal or an ink journal at all. It can be a pamphlet size. It can be careful with the glass here. It can be, however I can get the paper that's Tomoe River paper. Without the paper, I'm not going to see the ink maybe the way I want to see it. And then the other 2 are pretty obvious. An ink syringe, let's see, we'll use the one that this is a brand new ink syringe so I can read the the milliliters. My old, ooh, you okay? Goodness gracious, this is a hazard zone. You all right? I bumped you. The old one has no numbers on it at all anymore. I don't blame you if you're upset. You okay? You need to be brushed too. There's hair everywhere. So, ink syringe, Tomoe River paper, but my number one, of course I couldn't get very far without the other two either, but is my water brush. And this is a water brush I got on Amazon. Very inexpensive for 3. It was like $7 for 3. And this finer one, I think this is the very finest of the tipped one. It works the best for me for activating my outlines and when I do outline letters and when I do boxes and stuff in my process journal or notes that I take on books, which I do all the time, right, Coco? Yeah, all the time. Oh, I closed the book. So it's 3, but if I had to give you only one answer, it would definitely be that water brush. You should see me when I lose track of it. I run all over trying to find it, and none of the other water brushes. I got 2 or 3 others. They don't suffice. It has to be that one. We'll have to make sure that we don't lose it, right, Coco? Very important. Okay, number 15. Have you ever mixed inks or used shimmer additives? Okay. No, I haven't, but I have had the plan to, and somewhere in this place, probably over on the rolling cart, I have the silver shimmer particle, and I'd like to see some of my pilot inks as, well, hello, you sure are nice today. I'd like to see some of my favorite pilot inks with a little bit of the shimmer particle. It's just that I think I was reading you have to wear the mask. You don't want to inhale that stuff. And again, it just kind of slowed me down on my process. I have plenty of the masks left over from the you-know-what. And so I have those. So the answer is just no. I haven't mixed inks. And I haven't done shimmer additive yet. So that's another little alley that I can go down and enjoy someday. But I was thinking about that and I thought, a lot of times in reading about decluttering and minimalism, you hear the term fantasy life, where we gather stuff for our what we plan to do and then we never do it. Okay, I'm getting nervous because there's a lot of glass up here, honey. Let's be really careful. Mommy will put all of them back real soon. And that's glass too, okay? Let me move that one over because that is a glass jar full of my pencils. There. Is it safe from Coco now? I don't know for sure, but hopefully. Don't remember what I was saying. My little assistant is distracting me terribly. Okay. So that was question 15. Question 16. Oh, is there something that you don't like? Let's put them away now then, because I sure don't want them broken. Yeah, we'll put them right back with it. Well, we'll do a better job later, but we could, let's see, pilot goes down here. Oh, that's an empty box, because we were yet to talk about that, I think. Yeah, that's the final question. Okay, question 16. What is your favorite ink delivery system? Okay, I like a converter. Best. Excuse me. Oh my goodness. Very quickly followed by a good eyedropper pen, like an Opus 88, because the capacity in those is wonderful. And I haven't had any flow issues in my Opus 88s. I maybe have had more flow issues in a piston than I have with my eyedropper. Hello. You are so nice. All your friends are outside. It's so pretty outside today. And Coco doesn't go outside. He went outside one time. He freaked out. I got off of his harness and spent 40 hours outside. And I nearly died of a panic attack because I couldn't find him. So we don't do outside with him anymore. Unless he's in a crate. Or zipped into something really sturdy. So, yeah, definitely cartridge converter. It's just easier. The pens, I feel like, seem like easier to clean, of course, than a piston. And you can like encourage the ink in the little converter. It's so good. So good. Just simple and easy. And if you stain the converter, you could change it. Okay, so the final question, number 17. What inks are you excited about right now? Okay, well that would definitely be the Lamy Dark Lilac 2024 and the whole, you know, comparing with the original. And I'm really enjoying that. And thank you so much to pen friend Marilyn for sending a sample of the new Lamy ink, because that has allowed me to get in here, and we're going to have in the progress report, you'll see what I'm finding out, what I'm doing with it. And so that's a big excitement. And like, I didn't think I actually was going to participate right away in the excitement of the new Lamy Dark Lilac ink, because, you know, budget wise, I just wasn't ready to, you know, I have to wait for channel funds and that kind of thing. So the other interesting ink that I'm into right now are these Colorverse 2024 Blue Dragon inks. There is a standard, and then there's a shimmer blue, shimmer silver, and shimmer gold. And these were all sent by a pen friend who wants to remain anonymous. But thank you. You know who you are. Thank you so much. So I have these little bottles that I was trying to keep Coco from breaking, the little 15 ml bottles of these. And I can't wait to try them. I've gone so far as to put them in my ink journal, like right in the middle, like it just like interrupts everything. So I can kind of show you that I have them swatched. So this is the standard, and I think the next one is the blue. Yeah. So then we got standard, blue, silver, and gold, and they're just amazing. So there you have the teal, beautiful teal with the amazing red sheen, and then all the different shimmer. So I guess it's the same base color. Anyway, so interested in that. And it was just such a surprise. I had no idea. They weren't even on my radar. So it was just such a total surprise to receive that packet with those little bottles. And I'm going to put them back in the boxes and keep them, you know, safe from light and from Coco here. I'm going to have a lot of cleanup to do after, but that's okay. So yeah, okay, so let me think if there's, so in addition to the Lamy Dark Lilac and those new Colorverse, I'm just still really excited about Pilot inks. And I wouldn't say necessarily this, not a new exploration. Pen friend Karen years ago sent me samples of a lot of Pilot inks, and many, many people on this channel told me that I would like Pilot ink, and I just don't know why I didn't, you know, grab onto that sooner. But I am so grateful. Thank you to pen friend Karen, and there were other pen friends too who sent samples over the years, and now I'm just a full-fledged Pilot fan. I mean, this Pilot Azalea it's one of my favorites. It's, I mean, you know, I went through like the little bottle that was this size basically, but these are bottles I bought from Amazon last year. They're like, I think they're 15 ml bottles, but I like to keep a smaller bottle of the ones I have a big bottle of. The big bottles are in their boxes, put away, you know, safe from the light, safe from Coco and all that. So yeah, the Pilot inks, let's see, I had a couple more. I put everything away when he started. I thought we were gonna have an avalanche of glass bottles, which would not be fun. You know, I started myself by getting some little 3-bottle samples, but what I know now is that I love the Pilot inks so much I wouldn't want to spend the higher premium to get the smaller bottle if, you know, because I love them so much. They perform so well. And these are the 15 ml. I like the size bottle, but I go way beyond that in usage of the Pilot inks now. So I think that pertains to that question still, yeah. What inks are you excited about right now? Definitely excited about Pilot inks, and so grateful that people kept saying it, kept knocking on my hard head, because they knew from watching my videos and some of maybe the frustrations I had with other inks that I would love the flowiness and the performance and, you know, of the Pilot inks. And also I think they're safe for every pen, so at least I think they are. So this is just delightful. I had so much fun watching her video that I couldn't, Maria's video, that I couldn't not do this myself. And I've gone on longer, I think, than any other video, but it makes sense. Ink was what drew me into the hobby. I was writing with gel pens back in 2016, and I was actually, and this is funny now because it's ridiculous, but I was really worried about how much money I was spending on you know, refills or just new pens. Sometimes I couldn't find the refills for the Energel needle tip. I was using purple, pink, turquoise, and Bordeaux, I guess they call it. It would be like a, what am I looking for? Something to show the color, yeah. You know, kind of a writer's blood sort of color, maybe, kind of. Well, like a diamine Merlot. You know, there was one of those gel, the Pilot G2s that had that ink. And so those were the colors. Like, I guess I had like 4 colors plus black. And I just could not keep the turquoise and the purple and the pink. I just would write them dry so fast because that's how much writing I was doing. So that's when I got the brilliant idea that I would save money by getting into the fountain pen hobby. But that, you know, that's on me. That's my fault if I only spent money, because it's still true that you can just keep refilling your favorite 4 colors or your pens. You know, and you can save money unless you're me or others like me, where we get down the rabbit hole and it becomes an enjoyable kind of a hobby that is very, very, very fun for us. And so there's nothing wrong with it as long as we're getting everything else squared away, which, you know, I can see in retrospect how I would do things different, but there's a lot here that I would not want to have ever wanted to miss, and glad I didn't miss. So ink was what drew me in, and I'm still here and enjoying it. And I hope this was, you know, a fun break for you, or helped you clean your house or something. Or and I'm gonna now really enjoy going back to see, did others do videos on this? They probably did, but I didn't want to go too deep. I didn't want to get influenced. I wanted it to be me, you know, to do mine right after, you know, it's been a couple days since I watched Maria's. And then there's also a bunch of blog posts on it, and I thought how fun that would be to you know, look at some of those and see, because not so I can figure out what to buy, but so that I can get inspiration and look at color, which I love to do. So that is it. That is all. This has gone on really long. The next video will be my progress report from, I have at least 11 pens because that Galen tray is full. And that's because I decided to have the 2 Lamy Dark Lilacs and also the Diamine Pansy. And I've thought about going back and picking up Cross Violet, but I just have too many. 11 is going to be quite a video there, or quite a, not just video, but I'm working on all my little entries, and I'm trying to bounce back and forth between pens and make sure nothing dries up, and that I'm writing letters with them too, because writing letters is where I realize, how's this pen actually write with this ink? And I mean, that's the #1 test. That and journaling, but even journaling, it tends to be smaller entries at a time than a letter. So I will see you on the next video. I know this video wasn't for everyone, only for those who just, you know, like to hear the chats about a subject they like. So I will see you next time. Bye for now. And hey, let me know in the comments, you know, what some of your answers to any of these questions, or let me know, please, if you do a video. Because I think Lisa's questions were just so great. I love it. Just love it. And I don't know where I was, like how I missed this thing, but I did. So see you next time. Bye.